Imagine being 10 years old. No school, no homework, no exams, no bedtime, no phone, no bedroom, no toys from a store, no plans for your future. For almost all of human history, this wasn't unusual. It was normal. A child born 20,000 years ago would probably find modern childhood very strange, spending most of the day indoors, sitting in classrooms, following schedules created by adults, because ancient children lived very differently. They climbed trees before they could count. They tracked animals before they could write. They learned by watching, copying, and exploring. And somehow, without schools, grades, or homework, they learned everything they needed to survive. So what did ancient children actually do all day? Because the answer might reveal something we've forgotten about childhood itself. Ancient children usually woke up beside other people, parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, sometimes 20 or 30 people sleeping near the same fire. There were no alarms, no school buses, no one saying, "You're late." The sun decided when the day began. The fire from the night before was often still warm. Someone added wood, someone prepared food. People talked quietly. Children were already watching. Anthropologists studying modern hunter-gatherer societies found that young children spend enormous amounts of time observing adults. Nobody sat them down for lessons. They simply paid attention. How to sharpen a spear, how to prepare food, how to recognize plants, how to read animal tracks. Learning began long before anyone explained anything. Modern children are often separated from adult life. Ancient children weren't, and that changes everything. Children played almost constantly, but their games looked very different. They threw sticks, practiced throwing stones, climbed trees, built small shelters, tracked footprints, played hunting games. Among the Hadza of Tanzania, children spend hours pretending to hunt animals with tiny bows. Inuit children practiced using miniature tools. Aboriginal children played tracking games. The strange part is that these games weren't preparation for adulthood. They were adulthood. Human children have unusually long childhoods, much longer than almost any other animal. Scientists think this happened for one reason. Humans have too much to learn. A deer can walk within hours of being born. A human takes years just to become independent. Childhood became nature's classroom, and play became the lesson. Ancient children also had something many modern children rarely experience: freedom. Anthropologists studying hunter-gatherer societies often find children exploring far from adults. Groups of children wander together. They climb, swim, collect insects, dig for roots, search for bird nests, follow animal tracks. Some children know dozens of edible plants before becoming teenagers. Not because someone forced them, because curiosity taught them. Modern parents often fear unsupervised play. Ancient childhood depended on it. The world itself became the teacher. Every river, every tree, every season, every animal. The land was the classroom, but ancient children weren't simply playing all day. They had responsibilities. Small children gathered berries, collected firewood, carried water, watched younger siblings. Older children helped prepare food, learned to make tools, joined hunting trips, followed experienced adults. But here's something important. They weren't given jobs because adults wanted productivity. They participated because survival belonged to everyone. A child who gathered berries wasn't helping a parent. They were helping the entire group. And because of that, children often became surprisingly capable. Anthropologists have recorded children in some hunter-gatherer societies finding food on their own before adolescence. Modern childhood depends heavily on adults. Ancient childhood slowly became adulthood. There was no clear line between the two. When the sun disappeared, something changed. Work ended. The fire became the center of life. People sat together, adults talked, grandparents told stories, children listened. This may have been one of the most important classrooms in human history. Stories taught where animals lived, how ancestors survived, why people behaved badly, what dangers existed beyond the camp, what the stars meant, who your people were. Long before books existed, stories carried human knowledge. A child sitting beside a fire wasn't simply being entertained. They were learning what it meant to be human. And unlike modern lessons, nobody forced them to listen. Stories were simply too interesting to ignore. Today, childhood looks very different. The average child spends thousands of hours inside classrooms, thousands more looking at screens. Many spend less time outdoors than previous generations ever imagined. Adults decide where they go, when they eat, when they sleep, what they learn, when they play. Ancient children had far less safety, but they often had far more freedom. Their world was dangerous, but it was also real. They climbed real trees, crossed real rivers, solved real problems, learned from real consequences, and perhaps that's why childhood lasted so long in the first place. Because humans didn't evolve to learn from instructions. We evolved to learn from experience. For almost all of human history, childhood wasn't preparation for life. It was life. Children explored because humans evolved to explore. They played because play teaches survival. They listened to stories because stories built culture. And they grew up surrounded by people, nature, responsibility, and freedom. Today, childhood is safer, longer, more comfortable, but sometimes it's worth asking what disappeared along the way. Because the child who once spent the day climbing trees, chasing insects, building shelters, and listening to stories around a fire still exists somewhere inside us. Maybe that's why adults still want adventure, why we enjoy camping, why we love exploring new places, why campfires feel comforting, why stories still matter. Perhaps ancient children never truly disappeared. They simply grew up and built the modern world, and every now and then, they still miss the one they left behind.